Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Govberg Watches, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're looking at the Zenith Chronomaster Open Concept XXT 45mm in satin finished titanium. You can see this Zenith concept watch on our website, govbergwatches.com. And if you enjoy these videos, please download our app, Govberg On Time, for the latest news, views, reviews, and luxury watch multimedia. On my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference, this late 2000s concept watch looks the part. What's a concept watch? Well, it's exactly what its name implies. Like the concept cars rolled out by manufacturers at the major auto shows, concept watches are avant-garde, audacious statements of style and engineering that push the limits past a brand's comfort zone. And during the 2000s, few brands pushed the limits as much as Zenith under former CEO and design chief Terry Nataf. The 45mm of the case splay out to 53.5 at the edges of the lugs. So this is a large watch, but in titanium it wears light on the wrist. It does have a thickness of 14.5mm, but with a unique triple-stepped bezel, this one actually fits under a tight sleeve or dress cuff quite easily. And you can see the generous curvature of those lugs allows it to conform to the curve of a wrist. So while it is broad, it also wraps itself around the wrist, not jutting outward stridently and overlapping so much as following the form of the forearm. The watch wears easy thanks to its titanium case, and it has a look unlike any other, aided in large part by a very high quality Zenith patent leather strap. Now this is unique because the imprint has the look of woven titanium, but it is in fact made of leather and rubberized on the underside to insulate the material against sweat, against grit, against moisture that will degrade conventional leather straps. Now, the double deployant clasp is of exceptional quality. It is satin finished like the case itself. It features a dull, almost burnished gunmetal look, high quality, very secure. It has a low profile when it is buckled to the opposite end of the strap, such that it does look like a traditional pin buckle when it's closed. Very elegant, low in profile, like the watch, beautifully built. And the conforming ends of the strap do hew to the flank of the case, closing the gap and creating an integrated look, but to no detriment regarding fit. In fact, clever integration of the conforming end pieces as well as articulated pivots within the strap allow it to splay out such that if you do have an exceptionally small wrist, but you do want to wear the Chronomaster in the XXT case size, you can enjoy a small degree of articulation built into the conforming end pieces so that they will meet you halfway and fit a much smaller wrist. 15 centimeters would be approximately the lower limit to wear this watch with security, that enabled by the articulation of the conforming end pieces. But the strap, the buckle, the case, all of that falls by the wayside compared to the dial, which is the star of the show. Now, this is a unique treatment of the Chronomaster Open. Terry Nataf, again, CEO and design chief at Zenith during the 2000s, launched the Open Escapement in 2003. Essentially, his goal was to create the impression, the impact, the visual interest of a tourbillon, but at a lower price point, but to bring the machine from the inside out. The Zenith concept watches of the mid to late 2000s took that concept appropriately to the next level. What you see is actually a TR90 advanced thermoplastic polymer resting on top of an engine-turned dial base. So all of the indices, the power reserve scale at 6 o'clock, as well as the framed aperture for the open escapement, is sitting on a small layer of thermoplastic set noticeably above the engine-turned base, such that all of these indications and calibrations seem to float suspended. It's a beautiful effect, and it really does set this watch apart not just from other Zeniths, which were quite expressive and exuberant during the period, but from all other watches in the industry. This look is unmistakable, and it's a feast for the eyes, not just on the case back where the Zenith caliber 4021 with its 39 jewels can be viewed in traditional Zenith El Primero splendor, beautiful with blued screws, polished screws, brushed wheels and levers. The show continues on the dial, where the 4021 really makes its presence felt. Now, Zenith didn't just open up the dial, it created an entirely new caliber for these open escapements. Now, the effect was such that the train itself had to be moved. When the train was moved, the bridges had to be changed, and when the bridges were changed, Zenith then decided to skeletonize them so that the altered drivetrain, from the third wheel to the fourth wheel to the escape wheel to the balance, would be fully exposed and, logically, ordered in a linear fashion so one could trace the flow of power as if up from the power reserve into the balance wheel itself. This watch is something of a case study in watch mechanics, and it's beautifully revealed even without taking the watch off your wrist. Now the watch does feature the classic 10 Hz heartbeat of the El Primero, so you can see the preternatural sweep, the smoothness of the chronograph seconds hand, almost without steps. 10 beats per second, 5 Hz, 36,000 vibrations per hour, and it still maintains a 52-hour power reserve, which can be traced across the power reserve scale at 6 o'clock. With a traditional column wheel function actuator, the watch is crisp in the hand and a pleasure to actuate. In titanium, it's light on the wrist, and in any light, it's an absolute festival of audacious designs and quite possibly one of the most successful concept watches in Zenith's recent history. You can see this exciting, audacious, and avant-garde Zenith Chronomaster Open XXT concept watch on our website, govbergwatches.com. Check out our blog, and if you enjoy these videos, please download our app, Govberg On Time, for the latest luxury watch news, views, reviews, and multimedia.